you never wanna know. Never say you're happy cause you don't want me to know. I restrict your ego and I like the way it grows. Never see you smile but it doesn't make me mad. Buy me some wine but it doesn't make me bad. I restrict your ego cause I like the way it grows. Baby, if you love me you'll become a better man. And on tomorrow to bring happiness ahead. I restrict your ego cause I like the way it grows. Freaks in. Yeah, you really like it, but you never wanna know. Never say you're happy cause you don't want me to know. I restrict your ego and I like the way it grows. Never see you smile, but it doesn't make me mad. Buy me some wine, but it doesn't make me bad. I restrict your ego cause I like the way it grows. Baby, if you love me, you'll become a better man. And on tomorrow to bring happiness ahead. I restrict your ego cause I like the way it grows. Freaks in.
I got my trauma, got my coffee, got my trauma and my coffee. Hey, Cavino. Hmm. Hey, Bear. I'm PepPep from AOL. Uh-oh, can't hear me. Did you mute me? Did you mute me? You muted me, didn't you? Oh. Oops. Can they hear me? How about now? I know. Oh, they can hear me.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
I am not on
we can't
mute.
hear-
Streamlabs.
They can't hear you.
Streamlabs.
Nope.
Fucking A.
Now they can hear you.
Okay, let's try this again. Hello and welcome to Waking Up with Ann and PepPep, where this is pretty much a common occurrence. I should have known better and should have checked my mic before we went live. But what the fuck ever, it is what it is.
Just
Hello.
start talking during your intro.
I know, right? Hello, welcome to Waking Up with Ann and PepPep. I am Aroogs from the internet. I am going to say this again, and with me is my co-host. This is our producer, PepPep, aka Sean.
Hello.
And not always otherwise known as Sean.
Call me whatever. I've been called worse.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mhm.
And here on Waking Up with Nana and PepPep, we discuss mine and Sean's life growing up in the Southern Baptist Church. Sometimes we also call it as a cult, and how we are deconstructing our faith and reconstructing ourselves as somewhat functioning human beings. So here we are. Yay! Good morning. Hey, personality was my topic for 8. So here is our disclaimer. Here on Waking Up with Nana and PepPep, we are not discouraging of any type of faith. We actually think faith is a very beautiful thing when done in an emotionally and mentally healthy way and approached that way. We are not licensed therapists or counselors. This is just our experiences in life, our work through our own therapy, and sort of what has worked with us in our own experience. experiences. If you do need professional help, if you do need to get in contact with somebody, if you're in a place where maybe you are working through some religious trauma or you need somebody to talk to, we definitely have resources to help you get in touch with somebody that is licensed and will be glad to help you. That is why we have a charity. We have Fight Against the Sadness, and every purchase of on our store from the Fight Against the Sadness merch, that goes the some of the proceeds go to Mental Health America. And so they help actually have a lot of resources as well to help you get in touch with some mental health professionals in your area. So sometimes we do refer to the Southern Baptist Church as a cult because of some of their doctrine and their beings. And so, yeah, that's it. Yay. Okay. No, I didn't stumble that time.
No, you didn't. You did it. You did it great. Once people could hear you, you did a fantastic job.
Yay! All right,
Mhm.
PepPep, what are we doing today? What's our topic of the
So-
day?
Well, I'm glad you got your audio fixed because no one wants to hear just PepPep. Just listening to PepPep. I mean, I'm good and all, but I'm not that great. So it's important. I'm glad that we fixed the audio right away. You're looking at me funny. So
What the fuck?
that
Just
would
gonna
be-
say the topic. What are you talking about?
so the topic today is personality or trauma. Is it your personality or is it really the trauma showing through? Is your trauma showing, right? So the reason I said no one wants to hear just PepPep is because self-deprecation is a thing. Some people thrive on their self-deprecation. But is it your personality or is it your trauma?
Really? Really?
It was a segue. It was a terrible segue, but it was a segue.
It was really bad. I'm not even gonna lie.
It was
That
really
was terrible. That was
I'm not
okay.
John. I don't have John's segues. John's intro segues.
There is a whole reward for turn in for PepPep. That's right, Bear. I'm just saying. Anyway,
you have a good
so
point.
let me try this again, folks. Today we are discussing: is it our personality or is it our trauma?
Sounds like a game show.
It does. Actually, Sean wanted to make it a game show. I was like, we're not that. We're not Dondera. We're not
Like I had
Dondera
Jeopardy.
Streams.
I had
Like,
this whole
yeah,
board.
he had a whole
in my
thing
head.
worked out. I'm like,
Mhm.
so we actually, in a lot of our healing, and especially when Sean and I had started discussing this podcast, and this happens a lot to both of us.
Mhm.
We start talking, and a legitimate question is to like this is a question we often ask ourselves when we're feeling big emotions or we're just trying to over explain ourselves or something. We're like, is that really how you feel? Is that really what you think? Is that really who you are? Or is that just what your trauma? Is that a coping mechanism?
Mhm.
Is that how you were told to deal with things? And a lot of times it stops us in our tracks and we have to think about it. And we're like, I think it's my trauma.
Yeah. You think about how many times you say, "Well, that's just who I am," or how many times you've been in a conversation with other people and they say, "Well, that's just me. That's just me. That's just how I am. That's just who I am." That's just something that it's just something I have to deal with, or you
Mhm.
have to deal with, or what?
Yeah.
That's just me, and I ain't ever gonna change. If you start listening for that, both to yourself and to the people around you, you will be surprised and probably shocked at how often that comes out.
Mhm.
Or things that you never even thought of that you do, your behaviors that you think are just normal. And that's another thing. You live your life and you have these behaviors and they just seem totally normal to you. And then you're in a situation where that isn't done or someone questions it or asks you about it and all of a sudden you're going, "What? Wait, I mean, I if you're honest with yourself, you'll think about it and you might come to the realization that that's not normal. That behavior is not normal. Whether it's because of something in your childhood, whether it's because of something in your like your adolescent years, your teenage years, or in my case a lot of times, something in your previous relationship. something from a significant other, from your marriage, though you learn to do things, you develop personality traits,
Right. And growing up like in the church, because you're trained certain
especially in
things
the
in the
yeah.
church, and especially if your family is very religious, your family. And so it can stem back from, is this really who I am, or is this how I was trained to be?
Mhm,
And I know for me that's a big one. And like it wasn't necessarily relationships as so much as I was how I was raised and things that I did because I was raised in the church and
mhm.
making jokes at the worst time. Yeah, we all do.
Guilty.
We So, okay, let's start. We're gonna do this. We're gonna play this sort of like a game. All right, because a lot of the traits Sean and I actually share and in our own
We
unique
do.
different ways, but it's a lot of it comes
Yes.
down to because we were raised pretty much the same way. So
Mhm.
it does make a lot of sense that why we were like, is that really who you are, or is this really or is this how you were just trained to cope?
Mhm.
So
You wanna start at the top? You wanna start at the top?
we do we want to start at the top? Or are we just gonna go down? I don't want to go down the list. Like
Okay. Pick one.
okay.
See, I feel like
Let's
I need a
start.
wheel.
Let's start from the bottom. Because that one is one.
Ooh. Well, you are a sub. But that's a whole different podcast.
Oh, psh. All right. So I you make the worst jokes.
Ooh.
He does. All
Hey,
right.
hey.
Don't want to be a burden.
Oh my
Don't want
god.
to impose on anyone. Like, and you think about that as being polite. You're told that's
Mhm,
being polite. You're being
mhm.
polite and you don't want to be a burden and you just want to be, easy and you want everybody to think that you're whatever.
Your
Like
problems are
you
your problems. Don't go talking to other people about them.
right. Like it's I don't want to be a burden. I'm okay. I'm okay. You know what? It's fine. And you don't want you want to make sure being a sub and a bottom is not the same. So anyway,
I
I
stand
don't want to be a
corrected.
burden. I don't want to impose on the situation because that's impolite. Like I think about manners because we think of others. We have to consider others before ourselves and we got to make sure that other people other people like they're in a place other people we selflessness and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
Am I truly selfless or is that trauma? And the fact of the matter is it's fucking trauma all the way, like all
Absolutely.
the way.
Yes. Not wanting to impose, not wanting to be a burden means your needs aren't important enough. That's what oh god, what happened in chat? Yes. Right? Hard yes. Hard stares and aroogs. Mhm.
Okay, we never said in this podcast that I was perfect. Let's just go. And I was like, I still working on my shit too. I feel like that's what's said in the intro. We still working on our shit.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we,
So
yeah, we were growing up in the church. We were taught that selflessness is key. It's life. It is who you are. Servitude and selflessness is the basis of everything.
give it well, it was give it to God, right? We gave it to God. You don't give it to somebody else, you give it to God. The the thing that they they didn't tell us, there was always that underlying they said it's this is the reason you do these things. This is why you're supposed to do these things like pray or, trust God or whatever. They never told you really what was happening underneath it. What they were saying was that keep your stuff to yourself. Don't spread the tea. It's, don't go gossiping about they also would label what you're telling your story, you're telling your truth and what you need help with was also considered like gossiping. If it involves, especially involves somebody else. Oh, that's gossip. And you don't gossip, even though they all did it, and it was often the worst. So they didn't want you spreading information to other people.
See, that's not how I was raised for that. The
No,
selflessness is like don't be a
yeah.
burden, don't impose. And
Hmm.
it ties in very much with the, like yeah, keep things to yourself, but just don't cause a fuss. Don't not just
Yes.
necessarily
Don't
don't
cause a
don't cause
fuss.
a
Yeah.
fuss. Don't get, just fall in line, do as you're told, be an automaton and just don't.
Internalize it.
Yeah. To learn to
Yeah.
internalize it, because you don't want to be a burden. You don't want to impose. You don't want to go anywhere not
Yeah.
invited. You have to make sure you're invited. You have to, and you
Oh,
can't tell
yes.
anybody you want to be invited or you want to go or you want to spend time with each other because you don't. And that also bleeds into
Oh,
what they're training you in the
yes.
church is that
Yes.
you you want to be invited, but you don't want to tell them you want to be invited, and you also it's that need of being needed and wanted to be around.
Yes.
So just
Mm-hmm.
you have to wait, but you're trained in the church to wait until you're told what to do. Pray about it
Yeah.
till
Oh
God
my.
leads you.
Yes.
Pray about it, so don't ever be forthcoming in what you want or go out and get what you want. You wait for the prayer
Wait
request,
for
you wait for
God.
the God's
Yes.
revelation.
Wait for
And
the
so
sign. Wait for the sign.
so in turn,
Yes.
like, you want to be invited, you want to go, you want to do these things, and you don't ask, hey, can I go with you? Or hey, you don't, you just go, oh,
Because you feel
have a good.
selfish. You feel selfish if you ask. Even though like a person that invites a group and you're part of that group, you you still feel like you can't necessarily go, or you want to make sure that they want you. You need to know that they want you to be there, not just like, oh, it's the whole
y-
group.
you specifically, like, I
Yes.
invited everyone. You're part of
Yeah.
everyone. And but I don't know how many times I've done that. Like, I somebody's been like, well, I invited the whole group, and I would be like, I will have to ask them, are you sure it's okay? I don't want to be
Does
a
that include
burden. I
me?
don't want to, yeah, I don't want to, I if it's going to be a problem, because don't be a problem. Don't be a
Don't be a
problem.
yes, don't be a problem. Don't be a
That
problem.
is
Yep.
trauma. That is so
So
trauma. Like, we don't
sweet,
even have to,
sweet
like,
trauma.
sweet, sweet trauma. That, and for a long time, I don't know about you, Sean, that I took on as my
Mhm.
personality. I did. I was
Yeah.
the understanding one. I was the,
Yes.
I was the easygoing one, the one that went with
The
the
agreeable
flow,
one.
the agreeable one, did everything like,
Yeah.
okay,
It's
hey, do
fine,
whatever
we
you
can do
want.
whatever.
Whatever you
Yeah,
want. I'm not
it's
comfortable with
fine.
this, but it's okay. No, it's okay. Or no, like, you
Mhm.
guys go have a good time. And I'll be
Yeah.
here when you get back. Or you guys go do this. Or you do.
Mhm. Even though you do have an opinion and you do want to something, it's one thing if you truly don't, because some people may not. But when you want to go, when you want to be a part of something and you take that approach, yeah, that's the unhealthy part, because
And
you don't
people
want to
have no
be a
idea.
burden.
People have no idea
No.
because they're
Mm-mm.
like, oh, well, you just didn't seem interested. Or
Have
we had no
you
idea.
have you taken that a step further and actually blamed the person and gotten mad at the person though?
No,
See, okay, and
never,
I say
never.
that knowing that I have.
No, that's a lie. I
You
totally
actually
have. I totally have.
you get upset because the person didn't personally directly involve you. Because if they wanted me to be there, they would have asked me specifically. So not only am I not going to go because I don't want to be a burden, but I'm going to be upset and be offended because I wanted to go, but you didn't personally invite me.
Because we were told that we had to, that it was like that TikTok you sent me. It was like we were trained,
Yes.
we had to read their minds. Mind
Yes.
readers.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
which that goes into another personality trait. That goes into another
Uh-huh.
personality. We're
They're all
all
connected.
they're
Mhm.
all connected on, is it my personality or
Oh,
is it
we're calling Bear
so.
out. We're okay. We're calling. No, we're not calling anybody out. But if you feel triggered here, there's a good chance you're gonna one of these is gonna hit you hard. Yeah.
But in all fairness, we're only bringing up stuff, and we, Sean and I, made sure we are only bringing
Hmm.
up stuff that we actually
Yes.
personally have dealt with, we personally had to work through, that
Yeah.
we are still working on, like, for fuck's sake, like, we are both
Oh yeah.
still working on a lot of these and trying to weed through, again, what is our personality, who we are, and then what we were told to be. And those are hard to do, especially when you're doing them later in life and you're so used to just just embracing that is who you are.
Mhm.
And I don't know how many times that's just who I am. Like, is it?
Just
And if
accepting
it
it. Yeah,
is,
that's just
if
who I
there are
am.
certain parts that are who you are, then that's
Mhm.
fine. But you have to make sure that you understand the difference. And so that's
Yeah.
what definitely we work through in trauma or in our therapy and our work is really digging into who we are as people and
Yes.
what really is my personality. And so
A lot of these are learned behaviors. You're taught. You're taught these things. A lot of times when you're young, because you're young, you're impressionable, and it's easy for you. You're malleable. But you're taught these things. Doesn't mean you can't be untaught. Doesn't mean you can't unlearn. So,
but
all right.
mind reading.